It was good, y'all. Fusion here, back with another video. Oh, we got a tier list video for you guys. I haven't done one of these in a while, and I found a pretty interesting one. Superpowers. Pretty self-explanatory, but here's how I'm going to pretty much rank them. I'm gonna pretty much base them off of usefulness, creativity, weaknesses, and overall damage. I think there's certain powers that are more so for like utility, so those will be harder like to rank, but depending on how you use them, then they can be pretty interesting. For example, Luffy of the Gum Fruit. Prior to knowing about Joy Boy, I already did a conversation about that. I'll go ahead and link that down below. I think that's a perfect example of creativity and how you use like your power. That being said, we have a couple powers on here that I think are very useless in the wrong hands, but depending on how you use them, they could be really, really powerful. Now let's go ahead and get started with some easy ones here. Flight, depending on what you mean by flight, as far as we able to fly fast, or can you almost ride like the air, or do you need wings, or whatever the case may be. I think flight is a solid ability, but you don't really come with anything as far as like damage wise. Now the only way that you could maybe deal damage with flying is if you fly hella fast and then you punch somebody, or if you pick somebody up, fly hella fast, and then just drop them. That's, I guess, like your only real way of dealing some sort of damage. So I would put that at C. I think it's a very useful secondary power. It really doesn't have many strengths, I should say. I guess like the only thing is that you dodge earth-based attacks. You can dodge easier, I guess. It does increase like your mobility, and depending on what type of flight that you have, a really strong example of that is the show Invincible. I remember when Mark was really starting to learn how to use his flight to his advantage. Like he's almost he's getting a lot of strength in his punches by using his legs to almost push off of like the air. And I think that's a pretty interesting concept. So I would put that as C. Strength. Super strength. I think that super strength is a B tier ability. Depending on how strong it is, you could push it like to A, but I think it is a good power. I think everybody would want super strength as a power, and I think it combos well with a lot of things. I think strength also comes with durability, so there is a reason or a conversation to be had that could be pushed to A, but I think with everything else here, I think it would be a good B tier ability. And who knows, maybe I will push that like to A. And as you can see, I was going to talk about XQC, but I don't really care about him, to be honest. So I'm just going to go ahead and close that. Anyway, yeah. Invisibility. Now, I want to put it at D, but I'm wondering what is all included with invisibility. And is it perfect invisibility? By that, I mean, can you still sense heat signatures? Are your footsteps silent? Do you have anything with the invisibility, or are you just an invisible? I think it's really good for stealth, obviously, but as far as fighting goes, what else can you really do? There's a few ways that you can sort of counter invisibilities with a area of effect type of attack. I think that would make it really hard for you to do something or do anything against someone who has something like that, because you're gonna have to get close to them for you to do anything. That being said, there are ways that you can almost counter that with invisibility. I guess you could start the fight off easy if you have some sort of weapon. You can, well, if your suit or whatever can also turn invisible, then that would be interesting. But if it's just you have to be bare body, butt ass naked for it like to really work, all you got to do is just hit as hard as you can and hope that that punch really deals enough damage. Because against certain powers and certain abilities, you really have no way of doing anything. So I'm just talking about a base human getting these powers. There's not a lot of creativity that you can do with that. I guess you can try to learn how to do like some like jujitsu or some like karate, boxing. I'm gonna try to get that one shot in with snapping a neck or choking somebody out, whatever. But I think that's the only way to really do something. Speed, I want to put it up here. I think speed is a very powerful ability. There's not many ways to counter it. I guess like the only way to really counter super speed, it really like depends on who has that super speed. You do get extra like velocity with your punch, great mobility of course, and that also does include running on water, running up stuff, like depending on how fast that you move. I don't want to count the speed force into that because I think that's a whole nother thing. And I'm wondering how fast that you can actually go. But I think just in general, super speed is always great to have. Talking to animals, I think talking to animals is decent. I'm gonna put it here for now because there's a way that it can work well. It does like depend on where you are at. It's a great scouting tool. It's great for like I feel like there's a lot of stipulations and things that you have to set up for it to be great. Does animals count with aliens? Do animals count as insects? Can you be on your Shino vibe and get some ants like to do some crazy shit? Does that how it works? If so, then I guess there's an argument for it to be at a higher B. But I think currently I'm gonna put it at B. I may shift it every now and again. Yeah, so we'll see. I want to put these two together. I think fire and ice are S tier abilities because of the creativity that you can't do with that. I think ice is a good example of countering speed. If you put the floor around you as ice and then they run fast, there's a good chance that they're gonna slip. Or you can use like that ice to create walls to almost like protect yourself. You can use that as protection. Same thing as fire. If you put a fire ring around yourself, no matter how fast that you're going, you will get burned in some sort of way unless you are creative enough to counteract that fire with some sort of what is it called? Impulse, or like you run fast, like almost like a sonic boom type of thing to push that fire away. I guess that would be like your counter to that. But I think as far as creativity, damage dealing, and anything like that, anything having to do with element manipulation, I feel like is a very powerful tool. Cloning, I think having a clone and making a clone of yourself is a convenient ability. I don't know if it's A tier. I would put that towards B. Again, if you train your body to become peak human, or if you learn some sort of like karate or boxing, that will overall double your strength or even more, because like you're gonna have to deal with multiple people who have the ability to do something. Now, depending on if it's shadow clones or if it's like cloning where you can split like your body, or just like whatever the case may be, I think it's pretty interesting. And I think I sort of have a skewed view on it because of how interesting that how creative that Naruto made shadow clones or cloning to the best of his ability. I think that sort of made it to where I have a little bit more respect for this power. So yeah, I think cloning is B at the moment. It may be a little bit higher than talking with animals, but that does like depend on what that means. Size, you can change it from small to giant. I think it's an A tier ability, depending on how it works. If you're on your Ant-Man shit, I feel like it's a good ability. Shrinking and then growing fast, there's combos that you can do. You can be hella tiny and then get thrown, and then you can grow big. And since you are gaining the velocity because you're so small, then that punch is going to hit different once you grow fast enough, then you can hit. I think that's another thing where you can be like creative with it. Very good, very interesting A tier ability. Shape shifting. This shows that you can change into animals, but I feel like shape shifting can mean turning into people, almost like some Mystique shit. Or if you guys do remember the Wonder Twins, you can change into some animals or just like whatever. I think that's a solid ability. If you're on your Beast Boy stuff also, I think it's a A tier ability because you can turn into any animal, and I guess you could turn into a person. I'm wondering if you gain those abilities or do you just turn into that thing and do whatever it has. So yeah, I'd put that at A. I wonder if you can turn to Batman and then gain Batman abilities. I wonder if that's how that would work. Interesting. Breathing underwater. My girlfriend's was a D1 swimmer, so I guess you can do that. Yeah, I think that breathing underwater is a useless ability. Like, what do you gain from that? You really don't deal no damage with that. I guess it's like utility, but who gives a shit? Time manipulation. I'm wondering if you slow time, speed up time, go back in time. I think it could be broken depending on what it is. So I'm putting that at S. You slow time, you can dodge almost anything. I guess there's not many counters to time manipulation. I guess the only thing is you don't really deal a lot of damage with the time manipulation unless you can manipulate other people's time. I think that's interesting. So I'll put that at S for now, just depending on how you would work it. And I may do another video sort of like this because there's a couple superpower ones where if you're talking about peak human strength and knowledge or just like whatever the case, these may be slightly different. This would be much higher. This would be much higher in my opinion, but it really just depends. Stop aging. Again, that is something where I believe you learn more as you are younger. So I'm wondering if you put your age to like 7 or whatever the hell, and then you read a lot of books, you work out, you do some karate, learn some sort of fighting style, whatever, then you will learn that knowledge and it will stick with you a bit better. That is what I would think of it as. That being said, I feel like it's just a whatever ability. I mean, I guess in a stealth situation, you could turn into a kid or turn into an old man. No one's going to suspect that. Then you can do whatever you need to do. Interesting. Shadow. Depending on what that means. Can you control shadow? Can you go into shadows? Can you use shadows to make a shadow realm? I put that at A because there's a lot of things that you can do with it. You can throw a shadow at somebody, put them into the shadow, whatever. I think it's a solid ability. I think it's, depending on what you can do with it, you can deal damage. Yeah, I'll put that at A. I may move strength up. I don't know. Lightning, again, any sort of element like control, I feel like that has to be an S. Obviously the destructive power will be stronger than fire, as well as the speed of it, and also the precision of it. I feel like would be a little bit better than fire. I'm wondering, well, if you're facing against Luffy or some shit, then you really can't do nothing. But I'm wondering what you can do with it. What are the parameters? If you can just produce lightning, like on some Sith Lord Palpatine type shit, then I think that'd be cool. I'd be more inclined to put that at S to be one of the best abilities, if not the best ability here. And if you can control electricity, not just lightning, I'm wondering if you could improve your own internal electricity and make things move faster. Increase muscle strength because you are telling you, like, your body, controlling like the nervous system. I'm wondering if that is how that would work as well. Again, I'm talking based off of pure creativity. There are some things that you could do that, depending on what this means, it could work and make you very strong. Telekinesis, again, is it more like a Violet, Sue Storm type of thing where you can create force fields, or is it more like actually telekinesis, like some Pokemon psychic type thing? I think it's a good ability. I would put it at B at the moment, depending on what you can do with it, depending on what that means. You could easily make a case for A or even S tier, messing with people's minds or whatever. But I'll put that at B. Technology, you're a genius, or can you hack into things, or are you on some cyborg stuff? Whatever that is, I think it's always good to have someone who can do that. But can you, what does that mean? Can you like create a suit, for example? Iron Man, can you be like the Batman and have all these gadgets? Prep time the hell out of anyone. I'm wondering if that's what that also means, but I'll put that at B because I do think it's better than all of these, and you would be creating something that would deal damage, so I'll put that at B. Nature, again, that's an controlling some sort of element. There's a lot of interesting plants out there, but not only plants. Does that include the earth, like within itself? Can you earth bend? Can you do that type of thing? So yeah, I think I like where everything is at the moment. Again, these are my thoughts. This is just my interpretation of what the powers could be. I think I like Shadow. I think Shadow is an interesting ability, and depending on what you can do with it. So I'm gonna move that at A just off of pure bias. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it, man. I got my S tier as lightning, fire, ice, nature, speed, and time. A tier, shadow, size, and shape shifting. B tier, telekinesis, strength, talk with animals, clone, and technology. C tier, flight and invisibility. D tier, stop aging and breathe underwater. Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Like, comment, subscribe. Fuck Jennifer Anderson. Peace.